Hi Facebook, I'm Ellie Frost, and this is a video about the power of decisions, and I'm just going to share this in my groups. Happy Friday. So, I know that lots of us are like making new intentions and it's new year, and I've been doing some videos and stuff about how you can set your intentions in like a really powerful way, and how we can line our energy up basically with what we want. But there's a really different kind of energetic in when we make a decision, and most of us think that we've decided something, but we really haven't. And the power of a decision, like a true decision, when you've just like made it a non-negotiable, absolute must, and you've really grounded that into your energy field, is so different to not making a decision and wanting something. Because when we want something, it's still kind of outside of us. We haven't fully claimed it. And the way to bring things in is to really claim and demand them. It's to really own them in our being. It's to really become that person that has that thing. So it really helps to know why you want something. The reason people teach, know your why and know why you want this is because it fuels us. And, having reasons why something is just really, really compelling is a really good way to get ourselves into that place of making a decision. But the point is always to fully decide, because when we've decided something, we're not looking for the outside world to make it okay. So most of us are living pretty conditionally. We're looking for outside conditions to kind of let us know that we're on the right track, or that things are okay and that we can have what we want. When you make a decision, you're literally distorting the outside world to give you what you want, and it's the place of power. And so whether you fully stepped in and decided or not, depending on whether you've kind of got that energy around you of this is going to happen, this is mine, I absolutely non-negotiable, I'm only available for this. And the way you get your energy lined up with your desires is to come from the place of decision, is to come from the place of I don't care how, like this is absolutely mine, this is absolutely going to happen, this is absolutely the only thing that I'm available for, right? And it's not wishy-washy, it's not trying and hoping. I'm not looking for the world to tell me I'm good enough in order to stand in this space. I'm not looking for someone to appoint me for me to be able to feel that I can have this. And once you've really made a decision, you don't really have to worry about whether you're confident or not in the same way, because your insecurities just don't come in the same way anyway. So it's a really good way to like ground into your being what you're available for and get your energy behind something. Because when you've really made a decision, you're not negotiating anymore. You're not messing with your mind. You're not trying to justify or rationalize something. You're just claiming it, you're just owning it, you're just literally putting out the energy of this is what I'm available for and nothing else. And at that point you don't compromise. So often we get opportunities to choose, which means that if we've really decided something, we really have to be in 100% alignment with that. So it means that really we have to say no to things that don't add up. We have to really be brave enough to stand in the space of only that. So I know in 2011, when I set my first business up, I knew who I wanted to work with like I do now. And the first 5 clients that came to me, they weren't quite right. And I had to say no. And I had to say no before I had the business together. I had to say no before I knew how I was going to pay my mortgage. I had to say no before I knew how I was going to make it happen. But I knew inside that being available for what I didn't want and compromising on what I truly believed and wanted to create would not have got me the business and life that I wanted. So sometimes the way that sometimes we have, so basically I'd made a decision, and of course it all worked out, and of course it all came about, but I was very, very strong in that energy. I really wasn't prepared to compromise on what I'd set out to create, because to me it was pointless to do that. You don't get to create a business and life you love if you start standing in the energy of, but because I don't have this right now, or because I'm starting out, or because of some story, I have to not be in alignment with that. The only way we get to create what we want and sustain it is to only be available for what we want. And that's how we hold an energetic space. That's how we get our energy behind something and attract in absolutely what we want every time. And where things go wobbly or they're not sustainable or they're a bit shaky is where we haven't really decided. Everything responds to the energy we hold. Everything responds to what we're energetically available for. And if we're wobbling, then the world's going to wobble back. And that's why you might get hit and misses in terms of like people wanting to work with you and then changing their mind, or kind of the right things coming in but not quite. And I'm not saying that sometimes, you know, when you've made a decision, there aren't what would seem like big decisions to make after that, but you have to come from the place of the decision of what you're available for. So the first thing to do is get really, really, really clear on what am I trying to create, right? And then when you're really clear about that, everything else is kind of easier, because then you can just see what's aligned and what's not. And once you're really, really strong in that decision, you won't get things in the same way that aren't aligned with it. But there may be a bit at the beginning where you'll have to decide and decide and decide and decide and decide. And the energy behind a true decision, the energy behind like just really claiming and demanding something and grounding it into your being is absolutely what brings it forth to you. So it's such a powerful place to be, and it really becomes unconditional. It really becomes, right, I'm going to be this and have this and do this no matter what. So I'm not looking for the outside world to tell me I'm good enough. I'm not looking for anyone to tell me I'm allowed. I'm not asking for permission. I'm not testing the water and seeing if the world thinks it's okay. I am this. I'm going to have this. It's a decision. It's mine. I'm going to create it. I'm going to make it happen. And that's it, the end, you know. And that energy is really, really, really strong. And it's required, really. If you really want to speed things up and you really want to get what you want, then that's what you need. It's that force of nature within you that just really won't negotiate on it. It's really like, this is what it is. This is what I've decided. And it's so, so powerful. And if you're going through any wobbles, or you're getting a lot of fear and resistance, or you're getting like inconsistencies in what's showing up, it's just because you haven't decided. It's just because you haven't truly, absolutely decided what you're here for and what you're not. You haven't truly made it completely non-negotiable to only have that and to only be that. You're still probably looking outside of you for someone to tell you it's okay, or for a result to come in and let you know that you can feel secure, because in order to create what we want, we have to feel secure enough in it by deciding, so that we're not looking for our results to validate us. We're not looking for anyone to tell us that we get to have and be and do what it is we're trying to create. We've already owned it within ourselves, and that is the pull. That's what pulls people towards us. That's what sends a clear transmission out to the universe of you know, what we want to receive. So if there's anything that's not happening, or if it feels shaky and wobbly, then look where you haven't decided. Ask yourself where you need to make new decisions, because a decision's a decision. It's the end. It's kind of like, you know, this is what I'm available for. And when people talk about getting your energy behind things, it's when you've truly decided, and you don't need to see anything external in order to know that it's yours. You've really stepped into that place of a decision where I'm going to have this, I'm going to be this, or I'm going to do this. And it's just, you know, it feels like it's done. It feels like your energy's behind it. It feels like you really, really won't be available or show up for anything else. And if you can get in that space, then you're not going to be wobbling, and you're not going to be dealing with the fear, and you're not going to be dealing with the anxiety in the same way, because those things come in much more when you haven't made a decision, when you haven't really fully decided, when you're still looking outside of you for something or someone or a circumstance to change in order for us to feel that it's okay. And we're never going to feel that it's okay based on external conditions. It's always coming from within. That's the point of power and the point of stability and sustainability. So it's about getting our energetic in this space so that we don't get pushed and pulled by life, so that when something happens, we don't get put off. And, you know, I see that all the time. And I know from my life, I've experienced that, right? So what can happen if we haven't fully decided is that a situation arises and it can put us off or set us not back. So I don't think you're always moving to some extent, but, you know, we can really get jarred by external circumstances if we haven't really fully decided, if we haven't fully owned it, if we've just completely transmitted that this is it, this is what I'm available for, and I don't care what shows up, right? I'm still going to hold on to this. And that's the energy that's required. That's the strength of decision that's required. That's really the pure place of power where we don't give our power away. Because if we don't step into this and we fully own the decision, then every time something happens that we might interpret as not being, something that we want, we can get knocked down, and that's not the point. The point of power is absolutely the energy of, this is a decision, this is going to happen no matter what. I don't really care what shows up right now, although I know that it's going to work out, and I don't need to know exactly how, and I'm definitely not going to be put off by the things that come up on my path, because I've owned this, I've claimed it, I've grounded it into my energy field. I'm absolutely only available for this. There's no negotiating with my mind. I'm not going to get into that conversation. I'm not going to be looking outside of me for validation. I know I'm good enough because it's mine, because I've decided it's mine, because I've owned it, I'm claiming it, I'm demanding it, and the universe will respond. All I have to do is keep stepping into this. If anything's required of me to learn, to know, to grow, it's going to be shown to me, and I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to make whatever is required, whether that's an investment, whether that's learning something, whether that is doing internal work, whatever it is I need to do, I'm prepared to step into. But I'm not going to make the decision based on the fact that I might need to know something else or do something else. I'm going to make the decision and own it now, knowing that everything that's required for me to be able to attain it will be shown and given to me on my path, right? So it's not conditional on me being anything other than I am right now. The fact I have this the desire and the fact that I get the chance to decide right now is enough for me to be able to have it. And all I'm going to do is move forward and receive anything that's necessary, in order for me to continue to move along that path. But I'm not going to make my decisions conditional on needing to be something else or have something else or know something else. I know that just the desire is enough. I am enough because I have the desire, and all I have to really do in order to really bring it into being is to decide. And no wobble happens when we decide. Like, you really can't go into like fear and anxiety in the same way when we've made a true decision. It's when we haven't decided. It's when we're still looking, as I say, outside for validation, or we're looking for some kind of rationale to justify it, that we get in those wobbles. A decision is the most powerful thing in order to move forward, and in order to really feel strong in what we're doing, because our energy is directed then in the forward motion of getting to where we want to be, rather than in analysing whether or not we should have made the decision, or whether we should have the thing we want or build the business, or we're just not wasting and eating our energy on the kind of analysing and back and forth, because really negotiating with our minds never really works anyway. We're never going to have enough evidence externally in order to feel okay, unless we choose to feel okay in ourselves. And knowing that when we have a desire, it's possible for us, and if we really have a strong desire, then it's something that we really want. That's enough. That's enough to know that we get to decide. So that's the message that I wanted to share today. We've been working on this in the mastermind, and why don't things manifest faster? Often because we haven't decided. Why don't we get to where we want to be? Mainly because we haven't decided. Why do we go back into resistance and fear and anxiety? Because we haven't made a true decision. I know in my life, the times where things have happened with most speed and most ease is because I've made a non-negotiable decision, and I haven't cared what it looks like on the outside, and I haven't been coming from a place of I need you to validate me, or I need someone to tell me it's okay, or I need certain results in order to know who I am and know what the potential of my business is and what I'm creating. It's when I've fully stepped into that energy of it's mine, I know it's mine, I've decided it's mine, I'm absolutely here to do whatever it takes, whatever is necessary for me to stand in that space, but no one outside of me and nothing outside of me needs to happen in order for me to know that, because I've now claimed it, I've now demanded it, and the universe responds. So I hope that's inspiring, guys. Have a great day.